Have you ever been angry?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what's the experience of anger like physically in your body? Like what's going on in your chest, in your belly, in your muscles, in your face? What if you can tap into the physiological experience of anger, what's going on for you in that state?
Yeah, it feels mobilizing. Like it feels like I'm going to move. I'm going to change. There's an eruption of sorts, I suppose.
Yeah, there's certainly probably tension.
Yeah, constriction, tension. I feel powerful.
Yeah. And that's the role of healthy anger, by the way, is to make you powerful so you can protect your boundaries. Imagine how much effort it would take you not to feel that anger. It takes tremendous energy not to feel the anger. But if children get the message early that the anger is unacceptable, then for the sake of belonging, for the sake of the attachment, they're going to repress their anger. That means all their lives, all this energy is going into repressing anger. The physiological costs are enormous. In the book, we give the analogy of taking a beach ball and trying to push it underwater. You can keep it up for a while, but after a while, it just gets too much work. People who repress their anger, they're doing that work all the time. They're not aware that they're doing it, but it has a huge impact because you can't separate the emotions from the physiology, according to modern science. Therefore, repressing anger takes a huge physiological toll on your nervous system, on your guts, on your immune system. And that's why these people are more likely to develop IBS and autoimmune disease and all kinds of other conditions. So the repression of anger, which begins as an attempt just to be accepted, once it becomes a pattern in your life, it really threatens your health. And it's very common in people. I'm talking about healthy anger now. I'm talking, and that's very common in people with autoimmune disease. Why is it that 80% of people in this culture with autoimmune disease are women? Which gender is most acculturated into, you mustn't be angry?
Yeah, so true.
And by the way, the same with racism. James Baldwin, the great Black American writer, said that to be a black man or a black person in this society is to live in a state of suppressed rage all the time. Because a black person who's angry is in a lot of danger in this culture. A woman who's angry in this culture gets labeled all kinds of things, and she's in a lot of danger. So women are, and certain racialized minorities are programmed into repressing their anger. As a result, they have more disease.
In that repression then, and I think of in the book the message that I continue to get, and I recommend everyone needs to read this book, because this book to me is like such a key to one understanding themselves and their relationships and their experience in life and their health. Because so much of, I don't have autoimmune, but I have lots of friends who do. I've worked with lots of people who do. And that, much like when I was in the work with irritable bowel syndrome as a rep, I recognized that what physicians would often say about patients with IBS or fibromyalgia, and often those were sort of clustered together, was that these were type A hypochondriac people, and it was very dismissed. And what I saw and read a lot in your book, and just see in general too, is that codependent, like people-pleasing behavior is so often correlated to autoimmune. And maybe you could talk, is that suppression of anger, the amount of energy that goes into that, and then it makes us disassociated or dysregulated, and so we're not able to perfuse blood to healing? Like, is that part of sort of the pathology?
Absolutely, it is. So, you have children. Do you have children?
No, but I have one on the way.
You have one on the way. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Well, congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
And secondly, you'll never meet a one-day-old baby that represses their emotions.
So
Ever.
true.
If they're hungry, if they're angry, upset, you're going to hear about it. So therefore, the repression of those emotions, there's nothing natural or healthy about it. Nature, through evolutionary process, gave us emotions as she did to other mammals for the sake of survival. So healthy anger is essential for survival. So healthy anger says, you're in my space, get out. That's essential for survival. And the one-day-old baby is not concerned with pleasing you. I guarantee it. Your one-year-old child, whatever gender, they're not going to lie there at night. Oh, I'm hungry and I'm wet and I'm uncomfortable. But poor mom and dad, they've been working so hard the whole day. I better not bother them right now. I guarantee you that ain't going to happen. So how do people become people pleasers? When they learn that unless they please others, they will not be accepted. And being accepted, that attachment is actually essential. So people pleasers repress their own needs for the sake of meeting the needs of others, which happens in a lot of families. And they repress their healthy anger. That means they don't set boundaries for themselves. They don't know how to say no. And not being able to set boundaries and not being able to say no is guaranteed to make you sick. And one of the previous books I've written is actually entitled When the Body Says No. Because when people don't know how to say it, the body will say it in the form of some kind of illness. If we can turn these patterns around, which people actually can, a lot of their conditions can heal. And I know all kinds of people with all kinds of fibromyalgia or endometriosis or chronic fatigue or autoimmune diseases, who once they get it, that their bodies are not separable from their emotions, and the more they liberate their emotions, the less their body has to say no on their behalf, the healthier they get.